everybody, Mr. Traveler here, and I hope that you're having a fantastic day. Well, everybody, I wanted to start and bring this video to you. There's certain things that we tell you about budgeting and planning for a cruise, and one of the things that we always talk about is if you really don't want to spend money on a cruise, is going ahead and preparing and planning for things ahead of time. So doing your gratuities ahead of time, doing your insurance, doing your excursions, whatever expenses that you think you might incur, to do them ahead of time so that you can get on board the ship without spending any money. So I was doing a little research on my Carnival stock because I was kind of curious why the Carnival stock hasn't been performing as well as some of the other cruise lines. And it's still a really good bargain. For those of you looking for a good stock bargain, I think that it is still a good one. Pre-pandemic levels, it was trading in the $60 range, and now it's around $16, $17. That's been up to about $19. I bought it when it was like $7, so I bought a ton of the Carnival stock. But there's a lot of people that are buying it in anticipation for it to return to pre-pandemic levels. So part of the problem with Carnival Corporation is that they have to pay down their debt. They're doing well on revenue and things like that, but they have to pay down their debt. So some of the things that they're incorporating, and this is not just for Carnival, this is for all cruise lines, is to increase the onboard spending once you're on board that ship. So that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about today, and some of the sneaky little ways that the cruise lines are getting us. Okay, so onboard spending accounts for roughly 20 to 25% on most cruise lines. It's a little bit more for some cruise lines, up as high as 35%. But the cruise lines have this policy of what they call the fresh wallet approach. And you can, when I talk about this, you're going to really think about it and understand what I'm talking about here. So especially cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, they have been really good at this lately, where they've been offering so many deals on excursions and beverage packages and different things like that if you book them online ahead of time before your cruise. Other cruise lines, of course, are doing this. They offer 10, 20% discount, sometimes more, on excursions and different things to do on board the ship. This is called the fresh wallet approach, because what they have figured out, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you pre-purchase all your excursions and different things that you need on the cruise, you are 2.5 times more likely to spend more money than the people that go on board this ship and just purchase their items once they're on board the ship. So not only have they made their money from you on the pre-cruise purchases, but because you have this fresh wallet, like you've paid for everything already, you're going on board and now you're spending even more money, and you're spending more money than the people who just purchased the stuff if they just go on the ship and do it on board the ship instead of doing it ahead of time. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have to be conscious if you're on a budget. Many of you have asked us in the past how we have cruised so much back in the day when we were fresh to YouTube and things like that, and we were doing 4, 5, 6 cruises. It was by being very carefully minded when we did our cruise, because what's more important to us, buying a watch on a cruise or being able to go on another cruise? And we take that thought process a lot. Not that we do without things or like that, but we make a conscious decision to say, hey, listen, this thing that we're getting ready to buy is a cruise, really. If we think about it, what would we rather do, or what do we place more value on at this point in time? So that's the approach that we take to it. So now that we have all these new cruise ships coming out, you'll notice some other things that are happening, right? The cruise lines have, especially post-pandemic or even during the pandemic, scrapped and got rid of a lot of their older ships. Some of them repurposed some of their older ships, like the Mariner of the Seas, where they just totally revamped it. Then, of course, you got the Carnival, where they did the Sunrise and the Sunshine, and they revamped those ships. But we lost a lot of ships during COVID, and they're coming out with new ships. So if you notice, all these new ships have so many different items on there, like go-karts, cooking classes, robot bartenders, the fastest Wi-Fi ever, chef's table, specialty dining, escape rooms. The list goes on and on of all the different things, zip lines, all these different things that you can do on board these cruises that do cost you a little bit extra money. And if you come on board that ship with the fresh wallet mindset, you're going to end up spending more money than you actually need to. So the older ships that the cruise lines have typically are focusing on 3 or 4 day short cruises where they can get people to come on board. The revenue is not that great for the actual cruising part of it, but the cruise isn't really going that far, right? It's just going over to Nassau or maybe to a private island. So they're spending very little as far as fuel costs go and overhead, but they're making a ton of money on things like the casino and the bar tabs. So and then the newer ships, while they do have some of those doing shorter cruises, vast majority of them are doing things where they have days at sea where they have you at captive at sea, and they've got you on there spending money because you've got that fresh wallet mentality. So, ladies and gentlemen, right now the levels have gone pre-pandemic. They were somewhere in the $50 per person range. They are over $81 per person being spent on board the cruise ship at a time now. So it's working, and it's working well. And you know what? Here's the thing. If that's what you want to do, and it brings value to you, and it brings enjoyment to you and your family, and it's something that you want to do, I say totally go for it. And I mean, these are considerations that we make when we're on board a cruise ship. Is this something that we really want to do, an experience that we really want to have? So if that's important to you, I say go for it. But making impulse purchases on there because you've pre-planned everything already probably is not the way to go. So just make sure, guys, that you are smart, use your head, make sure you don't make those impulse purchases so that you can afford to take your family on another cruise sooner than later. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed the information on here. We really want you to make sure that you use your brains. This is why we started this channel to begin with, is to inspire people to travel and inspire them to teach them how to travel, doing so wisely and doing so within their budget. So this is a major component right here. While we do want the cruise lines to do well because we love cruising and we don't want to see them going anywhere, and we know that they're still recovering from post-pandemic, we do realize that the cruise fares are higher now than they have ever been. So you have to really plan and really budget well to make sure that you can still afford those same vacations that you and your family really cherish and want to go on. So make sure you don't fall prey to the fresh wallet syndrome. And guys, if we can help you book a fabulous dream vacation, a cruise, a land resort, whatever it is that you have on your mind, please make sure to give us a call at 877-697-4470. Or you can book online or browse around on www.mr-traveler.com. We'd be so glad to help you and your family plan a fabulous dream vacation. We want to thank you so much for watching, guys. Remember, life's short. Have fun. See the world. Bye, guys.